out there and do your own investigation. So I'm going to point out certain things, not really tease nobody. We're not into any teasing thing, but we're going to give you some of the basic information, but we're going to speak to you as though you already know. You understand? Speak to you as you already know, but we're going to give you the wherewithal that you need so you can go and investigate it. You can look at the descriptions, our descriptions, or something in the video will give you, just be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, and you'll pick up on it. All right? The first Christian king, or rather, the first Christian emperor. Who was the first Christian emperor? Let's begin off like that. Who was the first Christian emperor? Most folks that are under white supremacy and the whitewashed lies and counterfeit Christianity, they would tell you that the first Christian emperor was Constantine. Constantine, right? That's a lie. Maybe he was the first European Christian emperor. If you want to categorize it like that, that makes a little bit more sense. You understand? Constantine, the first European Christian emperor. But if you want to say who was the first Christian emperor in the world, you understand? And don't play this known world. They like to do this in the known world as though we're unknown. You understand? No. To us, y'all are unknown in Europe. So actually, we could both play that game. But the time is late for game playing. We have to get to the truth. You understand? So who was the first Christian emperor in the world? How many of y'all know? You know who the first Christian emperor in the world was? Some people, huh? Constantine. Okay, I just said Constantine wasn't, but that's who most people will say. But actually, Emperor Ezana, King Ezana of Ethiopia, was the first Christian emperor in the world. We're talking about in the whole entire Christian world. You understand? If you chart and map out everywhere where Christianity reached in the whole world, you will find that the first Christian emperor on record was actually, well, they say King Ezana, actually it's Emperor or King of Kings Ezana of Ethiopia was the first Christian emperor. Emperor means a king of kings. That's what the emperor is. In Rome, they call an emperor a Q.H.S or a Caesar or a Kaiser. You understand? That's what a Kaiser and Tsar, like the Tsar of Russia, all comes out of that stem, out of that seed. You understand? Out of that European seed and everything. So the first Christian emperor in the whole world actually was an Ethiopian, was a African, was King Ezana, King of King Ezana of Ethiopia. He was not just a king, but he was a king of other kings. So there's many tribes and other peoples and kingdoms that King Ezana ruled over. Thus, he was a legitimate, a real king of kings, not due to clever rewriting of history as has been going on like in Europe and everything. You hear about Constantine, he saw this vision, and in this sign you will conquer, so forth, so on. All these kind of fairy tales they've spun off, and movies and other people continue to lie about Constantine the first. He even, there's a question about him even whether he was actually a Christian. You understand? I mean, this is what's so interesting. You understand whether he was even a Christian, and the facts and evidence has come out to prove that Constantine may have not even been a Christian during his whole entire life. But if you want to believe the fairy tale, you can believe the fairy tale that Constantine was the first Christian emperor, but that's a lie. If you want the truth, then the truth is that King Ezana of Ethiopia was the first emperor, Christian emperor in the entire civilized world. You understand? Because civilization originally came out of Africa. And we could say Ethiopia, but that's a big question right there. What do we really mean by Ethiopia? If you look at the artificial borders of Ethiopia, well, nah. It wasn't according to the artificial borders today. If you go back in history and back into antiquity, yes. And that means that other peoples who are now called other African nations was a part of this original Ethiopian identity. I think that's so very important, because this is going to tie into other points that we have to speak about, such as the whole idea of the Knights Templar, and who were the knights, the original knights, because most of you know about this Knights Templar thing from 1119, around 1119 or so. This is when we have the poor brethren, the poor